All right, everyone, ready to dive deep? Today we're tackling something that could be, well, kind of tough for a lot of us. Self-love.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about bubble baths and face masks here. We're going deep.
Exactly. We're dissecting 50 self-love journaling prompts from Clara Penrose. You can find her work on listallioncom.
Now, you might be thinking, journaling, that's a bit fluffy, isn't it?
Well, think again.
Seriously, I'm a psychologist and I use journaling with my clients all the time.
Really? What for?
Oh, tons of stuff. It helps process emotions, get those thoughts untangled, and even handle stress better. And you know what else is super cool about these prompts?
What's that?
They're not just random. Claire's organized them into these awesome categories like embracing your uniqueness, cultivating self-compassion, even healing from past hurts.
It's like a roadmap for your emotions.
Exactly. So no more wandering aimlessly in the land of self-improvement, right?
Love that. Okay, so let's start with that first category, embracing your uniqueness. I got to be honest, sometimes that whole concept feels a bit eye-rolly to me.
I get it.
But then I saw this prompt. If you could only celebrate one quality about yourself for a whole day, what would it be? That one got me thinking.
Right. It forces you to really narrow it down.
Yeah, no more vague, oh, I'm pretty good at this. It's like, this is what I rock at.
It's like a supercharged self-affirmation.
Totally. It reminds me of when I used to compare my writing to, like, famous authors all the time.
Oof, been there.
Is paralyzing.
Yeah.
But then a journaling prompt, kind of like this one, made me realize, wait a minute, I'm actually pretty darn good at writing dialogue.
There you go.
It was a game changer. Suddenly, it wasn't about being the next Hemingway. It was about honing my own strength.
And that's the beauty of it. It shifts us from these big, often unhelpful comparisons to a focused appreciation of what we're good at.
It makes those cheesy affirmations actually seem, well, kind of useful. All right, let's move on to cultivating self-compassion. Honestly, this is a tough one for me.
Yeah, it's a practice.
This prompt, how do you show yourself kindness on tough days? Hit me right where it hurts. Some days, kindness is just hiding under the covers with a bag of chips.
And you know what? Sometimes that IS kindness. But the important thing here is awareness. The prompt isn't saying, don't eat chips under the covers. It's saying, hey, notice what you're doing.
So are we actually taking care of ourselves or just numbing the pain?
Exactly. It's a nudge toward being kind to ourselves on purpose. Maybe journaling is your version of chips and blankets, but done mindfully.
Okay, I'm kind of liking this reframing of my snack attacks. But what about those nasty negative thoughts that just won't quit? I know, logically, some are ridiculous, but they still pop up.
Oh, I hear you. And Clara's got a prompt for that. Identifying your most frequent negative thought.
Feels like we're poking a hornet's nest.
It can feel that way, but it's like exposure therapy, you know? You face those fears little by little and they lose their power. Writing those thoughts down, it's not agreeing with them, it's observing them.
And that's enough to help.
Studies actually show that just putting it into words can loosen its grip on you.
So it's not about suddenly becoming a positivity guru. It's about taking tiny steps away from that negativity. Okay, I'm feeling a little braver now to face whatever's next.
Before we do that, let's take a breath. I want you listening to think about something for a moment.
All right, everyone take a deep breath.
Which of these first two categories speaks to you most right now? Is it about owning your strengths? Or maybe being a better friend to yourself on those tough days? Really sit with that for a minute.
Yeah, let it sink in. And when you're ready, we'll be back to explore even more of Claire's awesome prompts.
Okay, ready to hit the self-love gym again. This next set of prompts is all about embracing your body.
Ooh, that one always makes me think of that saying, your body is not a temple, it's a vehicle.
Love that analogy. Way less pressure than striving for perfection.
Right. But sometimes my vehicle feels more like a beat-up old clunker, Yeah. Hard to embrace that some days.
That's where these prompts can really help. Instead of focusing on how we look, Clara asks this. What's one thing your body allows you to do that you take for granted?
Huh. Sneaky but smart. Like, instead of worrying about my non-existent abs, I could be grateful for, say, my strong legs that let me go hiking with my dog.
Exactly. It's like a gratitude practice, but specifically for your body and what it can do.
And gratitude is definitely a good thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like an instant antidote to those negative body image thoughts. It's hard to stay stuck in that negativity when you're actively appreciating what your body does for you.
Okay, I'm starting to see how powerful these prompts can be. But what about those really deep-rooted body image issues? Those feel tougher to tackle with just a few journal entries.
They can be tough, for sure. But journaling can be a great starting point, even for those. Like, check out this prompt. Describe your body in purely factual terms without any judgment.
Sounds almost like clinical, doesn't it?
It does, but there's a reason for that. It's about taking the emotion out of it.
Instead of, my thighs are huge, it's, my thighs are strong and help me walk and run.
Exactly. You're stripping away the negativity and just seeing the reality. And that shift in perspective is key.
So it's like rewiring our brains to see our bodies differently.
You got it. It's actually a foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. You repeatedly focus on facts, and you can actually retrain your brain to see your body in a more neutral way, less emotionally charged.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So we've embraced our uniqueness. We're working on self-compassion. Now we're heading into some potentially heavy stuff. Healing from past hurts.
Yeah, this is where things can get a bit more sensitive.
I'm already feeling a little nervous.
It's understandable, but often the most profound growth comes from facing those tough emotions.
I guess that makes sense.
And Clara's prompts in this section are designed to help you do just that, with compassion, not judgment.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. Because sometimes those old wounds feel so raw. It's like just thinking about them is going to reopen the scars.
I hear you.
But then I see this prompt. Write a letter to your younger self, offering advice and support based on what you know now. That feels less about wallowing and more about wisdom.
Exactly. It's about turning those experiences into something positive, something that can help heal that younger version of yourself. And often, in doing so, you're healing a part of yourself that still carries those hurts.
Whoa. I never thought of it that way.
It's powerful stuff. It's like you can't change the past, but you can use your current wisdom to offer comfort and perspective to that younger you who went through it.
It's like reframing the pain into something positive.
Beautifully put. And that's the heart of this whole category. It's not about erasing the past, but about transforming how we relate to it, acknowledging the hurt, but also recognizing our resilience.
Okay, I'm feeling a little more ready to face this section now, but there's another prompt here that's got me stumped. What is one forgiveness you've been withholding from yourself, and why? Oof, that's going to take some serious soul searching.
It will. And that's the point. We're often much harder on ourselves than we'd ever be on anyone else. This prompt forces you to confront that inner critic, to look at those grudges you've been holding on to and consider letting go.
That's where the real healing happens, isn't it?
Exactly. Not by pretending the hurt didn't happen, but by choosing to forgive ourselves.
You know, as we're talking about all this heavy stuff, I'm realizing we haven't really laughed yet in this deep dive. Maybe it's a sign we need to move on to the last section, celebrating who you are today. Time for some lightness and joy, Ray.
Absolutely. After all that emotional weightlifting, a little celebration is definitely in order, and this last set of prompts from Clara is perfect for that.
All right, bring on the confetti. What's got you excited in this final section?
Well, before we jump into specifics, let's pause for a second. I want you to think about this. What's one thing you've accomplished, big or small, that makes you feel proud? No need to share. Just let that feeling sink in.
Everyone, take a moment. Soak that in.
That's the energy we're bringing into this last part of our journey.
All right, we've made it. The grand finale of our self-love journaling deep dive. Celebrating who you are today. Kind of feels like we've earned a party after all that emotional heavy lifting, right, Del?
Totally agree. But before we break out the party hats, let's see what Clara has in store for us in this last set of prompts. I swear, this woman knows how to sneak in some serious wisdom, even when we're supposed to be celebrating.
No kidding. All right, hit me with some of that wisdom. What's got you so intrigued?
Well, this prompt really stood out to me. What are 3 things, no matter how small, that brought you joy this week? It's like a classic gratitude exercise, but with a twist.
I love a good twist. What's the twist?
By focusing on the small things, it helps you notice all the good happening around you, even when things are crazy.
Oh, I'm all about celebrating those tiny joys. It's so easy to get bogged down by stress and forget to appreciate those little moments that make you happy. Like this morning, I found a perfectly ripe avocado at the store. Honestly, made my day.
And that's exactly it. Cultivating that gratitude for everyday wins can seriously boost your happiness. It's like a happiness booster shot, available whenever you need it.
Sign me up for that. Okay, what other goodies do we have in this final set of prompts?
This one's a little more introspective, but still celebratory. What is one thing you've learned about yourself this year that you're proud of? It's all about recognizing growth, even if it seems small.
I love that. It's so easy to fall into that trap of not enough, you know?
Yeah.
Focusing on what we haven't done yet. But pausing to appreciate those personal wins, those little bits of progress, That's powerful.
It really is. It's about shifting the narrative from what's wrong with me to what's awesome about me.
Hmm.
And you never know. Those small discoveries can lead to bigger breakthroughs later on.
Thinking back on everything we've talked about today, we've covered a lot from embracing our quirks to facing our fears, body image, gratitude, the whole shebang. It's like we took a crash course in Self-Love 101.
We did. And that's the thing about self-love, isn't it? It's not a finish line you cross. It's this ongoing journey, a journey of exploring, growing, and definitely celebrating along the way.
And these 50 prompts from Clara, they're like those little trail markers on the path, guiding us toward really understanding and accepting ourselves.
Love that analogy. They're tools to help us navigate those tricky emotional spots, celebrate those wins, and build a better relationship with ourselves, a more loving and compassionate one.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this. What's one tiny act of self-love you can do today, right now, inspired by everything we've talked about?
It could be anything. A 5-minute meditation, a walk outside, a delicious meal you really savor, even just a nice compliment to yourself in the mirror. What feels good to your soul? Choose that and go do it.
And don't forget, self-love isn't selfish. It's essential. It's the foundation for everything else. Our relationships, our work, even just our overall well-being.
So keep exploring, keep journaling, keep celebrating, and keep diving deep.
Thank you all so much for joining us on this self-love adventure. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep those journals handy.